And welcome, fans of flip clocks. This is an unboxing of a new in-the-box Copal Model 222. But there's a twist to it. So let's see if you can figure out what the twist is. Here it is in FlipClockFans Studios. It's a digital electric clock, don't forget that. Copal, Company Limited, made in Japan. It's a 120 volt version, 60 hertz, 12 hour. What do we got? Very common thing to find is your warranty card for the Copal Corporation of America in Woodside, New York. I wonder if it's still there. I guess I could Google it, but I'm not going to. It's full warranty for 18 months because it's the highest standards, and that's true. These things have lasted 40 years. Really want all your personal information here. Not going to get it today. So what do we got here? This is the instruction booklet, Copal Model 222 instructions, and if you didn't know, it is a digital clock. Back before they had electronic digital, that's what they called them, digital clocks. Copal's trademark of Copal Company Limited, which is the largest producer of shutters for quality cameras that require such high precision as 1/1000th of a second in speed. Such precision technology is now also employed in the production of digital clocks. And it's got a little display. It's a operation indicator. I think that's a typo. I think they mean whirligig. So they've got a typo here. It can be used on radios, televisions, receivers, and other household electronic appliances without affecting or being affected. Well, we're going to do that later. We're going to use it on top of something. Okay, let's see. Motor. Miniature size, self-starting, precision, synchronous motor. That means it's in tune with the hertz, the frequency of your thing. It's a small clock. Apply the AC voltage and frequency specified on the label. Plug it in. Light comes on. Turn the knob counterclockwise. Okay, that's simple. Now this is important. When cleaning the enclosure of the clock, use thin soap suds of a neutral nature and wipe it lightly. Do not use benzene, thinner, or the like. Okay, that's going to come into play for this digital clock. Okay, so enough of that. We got the clock in here. And you can keep your eye open, see if you can find out what's wrong with this clock or what we're going to alter. But it looks pretty spick and span to me. The cord's wrapped up as from the factory. And you can already tell this thing is pristine. Usually these white clocks will have discoloration from exposure to sunlight, usually, or UV light. So it's like an ivory white. It's beautiful. But what's wrong with it? What are we going to have to fix? There it is. It's a branded clock. Somebody branded this clock. NyQuil. Now look at the font. That's an old style font. So when NyQuil was coming out, this is 1973, they had that type of font. You can see the Q really is different. And then they changed it. This is an 87 ad. And then in 88, they were writing a story about how they had changed the slogan to the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, acting, stuffy head fever so you can rest medicine. That was in 88. And that's still in use today. And of course, we're going to check out the clock and how it functions. But on this clock, they're using the old style slogan, nighttime colds medicine. And there you can see what they erroneously called an operation indicator, which we know is called a whirligig, right above the Copal. I can't get the lighting on there, but there you see we're going to have to get that off. I'm not a fan of NyQuil that much. I mean, I like the stuff. It's good for what it's for, but it doesn't belong on my flip clock. So here we got it. We're going to take a look here and compare it to a Faces West clock. It's a standard small clock, but you see the size of the numbers. Look how small the 222 is. It's got to be the smallest flip numbers around. It's the smallest I've ever seen. But whenever I talk small, I always get out or size comparisons. I get out the Copal 227, which is pretty small, but it is an alarm clock too. But you can see the size difference of the numbers. It's a nice, neat little compact clock, and I really like it. So we're gonna try to fix it, and we've got to figure out how to get that off. And that's what's tricky, because it can ruin, different kind of chemicals can ruin your plastic and the rest of the clock. You got to be careful. So I'm going to mask it off here with just some cellophane tape. You could use masking tape. It's not that important. So we're going to isolate out the clock, and then we've got to figure out what we're going to use to get that off of there. And there's a lot of different things that you can use for that that's sort of safe, but we're going to use brake fluid, believe it or not. You've probably heard of this. Brake fluid can take off some of the stripes that are on these faces for different clocks, for different reasons you might want the stripe off. And it's going to take this paint off. Now, I would recommend if you do something like this, you want to go ahead and put it on there and probably let it soak overnight, as long as it wasn't going to drip somewhere it shouldn't. But in this case, I'm going to get this done in under an hour. It's been sitting here for about 30 minutes at this point, and it's starting to come off. It's starting to, especially the smaller numbers are starting to give way, but I can tell it's going to take a little longer, and I don't really want to get aggressive to get it off, because I'll tell you, doing this is going to actually put a little haze on that the front lens there. So after an hour, now I've rubbed some of this off, it didn't just disappear, but it's going to put a haze on there from I guess the paint's kind of abrasive. In any event, I get the paint off, but what I can see now is there's actually an impression of the logo. I can see it. It's not paint, it's into the plastic, so we got to do something about that. So here it is after I've done something about that, and you can take a look here, and it's mint. We can't really call this a new in the box now. I wouldn't classify it as that, but I could say it's mint condition. The way I got that off is with this Meguiar's plastic cleaner and polish. It's good stuff, and other restorers have different favorites, but that happens to be my favorite. I get the best results. And I didn't use a buffing wheel. I used my hand and a cloth and just took a little time with it. So there we have it. We've got the Copal 222 mint condition, and I've put it on top of my Baycrest HB23. That's called the Fringe flip clock. That was appeared in the television series Fringe, and that's where it's going to stay in FlipClockFans Studios. Classic clock from a classic time. Thanks for watching.
When you get the time, come visit us at FlipClockFans.com.